The Galactic Council chamber hummed with tension as representatives from 12 species gathered around the circular table. Ambassador Vale, the human delegate, sat quietly, her fingers steepled before her. Across from her, the Quran delegation shifted restlessly, their scales making soft clicking sounds against the polished surface. The warning was clear, Vale began, her voice steady. Do not touch our extraterrestrial friends. The Quran leader, Commander Grix, slammed a clawed appendage on the table. Your warning was absurd. The Vellani are a peaceful species. We sought only to establish trade relations. By capturing 3 of their vessels and interrogating their crews? Vale raised an eyebrow. Your definition of trade differs from ours. The chamber fell silent. Every species present had received humanity's singular directive when they first made contact. One simple rule: leave the species under human protection alone. For nearly 2 decades, this arrangement had maintained peace across the galaxy. The Vellani, with their crystalline bodies and limited defensive capabilities, had been among the first to request human protection. Counselor Jax, the neutral moderator, spread his 4 arms wide. Ambassador Vale, the Quran delegation claims they were unaware the Vellani were under human protection. Ignorance is not an excuse, Vale replied coolly. We broadcast our protection status on all known frequencies. Every species database contains this information. Commander Grix's scales darkened to a deep purple, a sign of aggravation. Humans have no right to claim protectorate status over other species. You are not the Galactic Police. Vale leaned forward slightly. We never claimed to be. But when a species requests our protection, and we agree to provide it, that agreement becomes law. Your actions constitute an act of aggression against both the Vellani and humanity. Threats? Grix hissed. You would threaten the Quran Confederation over 3 ships? Not threats, Vale corrected. Consequences. You were warned. The choice to test our resolve was yours. The room's atmosphere grew heavy. Other delegates whispered among themselves. The Thrix representative, a gelatinous being in a containment suit, bubbled nervously. Ambassador Vale, surely diplomatic solutions exist? They did, Vale responded. Before the Quran chose to ignore our warning. Before they took prisoners. Before they began extracting information through coercion. Commander Grix's scales now displayed streaks of deep red. We demand proof of these allegations. Vale gestured to the holographic display at the center of the table. Images appeared. Quran ships approaching Vellani vessels, Vellani being forcibly removed, interrogation chambers aboard Quran ships, transmission logs from the Vellani ships, biometric data from their crews, security footage from your own vessels, Commander. Your ship's systems are impressive, but not impenetrable. The evidence hung in the air like a judgment. Grix's appendages curled inward, a defensive posture. The Vellani government has formally requested human intervention, Vale continued. As per our protection agreement, we are obligated to respond. You speak of war? Counselor Jax asked, his tone grave. I speak of justice, Vale corrected. The Quran Confederation has 72 standard hours to return all Vellani prisoners, provide reparations for damages, and formally apologize. Additionally, they must implement protocols ensuring no further violations occur. Commander Grix stood abruptly. And if we refuse? Vale's expression remained neutral, but something shifted in her eyes. Then you will understand why every species in this chamber received the same warning, why even the most militaristic among you chose to heed it. The Quran delegation exchanged glances. Their military strength was considerable, their technology advanced. But they had heard whispers about human warfare, stories that seemed impossible yet persisted across species lines. You would truly go to war over this? Grix asked, his voice quieter now. We would honor our commitments, Vale replied simply. As we always have. As we always will. Counselor Jax raised a tentacle. Perhaps we should recess to allow for deliberation? There's nothing to deliberate, Vale said, standing. The Quran have violated our clearly stated boundary. The Villani have suffered because of it. We gave one warning, Commander Grix. One. You chose to test it. She gathered her materials, pausing at the chamber door. 72 hours, Commander. The galaxy watches your decision. As the human delegation filed out, the remaining representatives sat in stunned silence. The Quran were among the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, yet they faced a choice no species had dared to force before: comply with human demands or face the consequences of their protection doctrine. Commander Grix lowered himself back into his seat, scales now a muted gray. The Coran had spent months planning their approach to the Villani, believing human protection to be mere political posturing. They had been wrong. In 72 hours, they would either return the Villani prisoners and accept the terms, or they would discover why humans had earned such universal respect for a single, simple warning. The galaxy held its breath, knowing that whatever happened next would define interspecies relations for generations to come. One warning, one choice, one species willing to follow through on their word, no matter the cost.